So we're going to talk about the innovation demonstrations that the Broadband Forum is producing in a couple of weeks at Network X. With us is Jeevithan Muttu of Motive. Motive is one of the premium sponsors of this year's event, and that's very important because, well, we'll talk about it, why it's important in a few moments. But first, let's bring it to a higher level and tell us about the importance of standards from Motive's perspective, the importance for the industry, for broadband service providers.
So Motive has a proud and long history with the Broadband Forum. In fact, we were one of the original contributors to the TR-069 specification. We started our journey out of Austin, Texas about 28 years ago in 1997. We later grew through acquisitions by Alcatel-Lucent, later merged into Nokia. We have been carrying our tradition. The standards have been part of our DNA, the investment that we have made into our home device manager, the service management platform, and so on, a number of products that we offer. In 2024, last year, we spun out of Nokia, so we are back to our roots as Motive. And we're able to continue to invest in R&D, continue to invest in our product offering as we take this leadership in terms of broadband device management. As you know, both the TR-069 specification and the recent TR-369 or user services platform has become the cornerstone around the globe in terms of providing that access and providing the device management capabilities for service providers. In terms of our product offering, as I mentioned, our home device manager is an example. Today we manage about 1.8 billion devices globally. It's a platform that allows operators to remotely manage, provision services, optimize services that they're offering to business customers as well as consumers around the globe. And this is something that we really take pride in, and that has been with us from day one, and we continue to evolve and continue to have that as part of our DNA.
Well, and that's a great overview of the importance of the standards, but then specifically as we looked at the Broadband Forum, you're contributing in many areas. Why don't you talk to that for a moment?
For sure. So Motive has a proud and long history with Broadband Forum. We were one of the original contributors to the TR-069 specification. We grew later through acquisitions by Alcatel-Lucent and later merged into Nokia. But as of last year in 2024, we spun out as a standalone company with HQ in Canada. And today we serve to over 150 top-tier service providers globally, managing around 1.8 billion devices. So that essentially, you can see how Motive as a company has evolved, how Motive has actually contributed to the specifications and taken a leadership role in terms of shaping how this industry evolves. And if you look at some examples of our product offerings that are aligned with BBF and the specifications, one example is our home device manager. It allows operators to optimize and remotely manage broadband devices, whether it's through various different access mediums, in-home Wi-Fi management and automation of troubleshooting and automation of care. All of that, essentially our alignment with the Broadband Forum allows us, it gives us that confidence, it gives our customers that confidence that the solution works and interoperates seamlessly in the field when we are managing billions of devices across multiple different vendors across various different networks.
And in the innovation demonstrations this year, you have your home manager is involved in that. Why don't you talk to the innovation demonstrations and the importance of them in kind of proving these standards?
Yes, so the innovation demonstrations are vital, right? So because the reason is the specifications as is could be seen as abstract on paper. The innovation demonstrations take that specifications and shows you how you can actually deploy that. How does it work in practice? I would characterize it into three big areas why the innovation demonstrations are impactful. One is it fosters that environment where you are bringing together the suppliers as well as the service providers. So what that does is it shows that it guarantees, builds confidence that the solutions and the specifications actually work in practice. So it cuts down in terms of the cycle, the adoption cycle between standardization and adoption. Secondly, it fosters an innovative environment where multiple vendors working across multiple use cases, multiple technologies being able to showcase, hey, look, not only what we are writing on spec, but it's the application of that working end to end. And we are not talking about years to build these standards like in the old days, right? So here we are talking about agile way in which standards are evolving, new things are getting added to specifications, and we are moving forward. And then lastly, it also gives space for suppliers like Motive to showcase the leadership, right? So showcase what is important in the market and how we can actually address those solutions. So there are a number of different demos that are going to be happening in Paris at Network X. I can talk about two where Motive is very much involved. One is about UPS monitoring from a compliance standpoint, a regulatory standpoint, and for 911 call continuity. So in some jurisdictions, it's critical for the type of services that they offer that the broadband connectivity remains continuous and remains stable even in during power outage scenarios. So in order to meet that compliance, we are essentially adding new changes to the specifications. So we're adding a model to track backup batteries, the UPS status, so which allows us to monitor and then also build in the proactive care on top of that. The second use case that we are going to be demonstrating is about wholesale network environment, so broadband connectivity. So which is actually important for us as we have a number of customers, operator customers who are providing that wholesale broadband connectivity in different parts of the world. In layer 2 broadband wholesale environment, both the buyers as well as the suppliers need to ensure performance, needs to ensure that assurance. So we are looking at combining continuous monitoring tools like TVAMP and DeltaQ and adding that with the latest adaptive UDP-based high bandwidth speed test. So combining that, we are able to build a proactive continuous monitoring tool. So again, that's something that we are proud of in terms of the work that we are going to be showcasing there. But in addition to that, there's a number of different use cases are being developed and will be demonstrated there, you know, differentiating between in-home Wi-Fi performance versus access technology, bringing in agentic AI into care and providing a proactive troubleshooting environment. So we look forward to that. I think as we discussed earlier, this is a great opportunity for us to, as a community, come together. Again, without standards, a lot of these will be developed in silos and it will be really difficult to bring things together. We take a lot of pride in terms of keeping cost to the minimal as some of our operator customers are deploying millions and millions of devices and managing subscribers. The only way that is possible for us is the compliance that the Broadband Forum and other standards will provide.
Excellent. Well, it really points to the leadership of Motive and of course the collaboration with Motive and the other participants in this. It's just been a wonderful experience and I'm really looking forward to actually seeing this all together in Paris in a few weeks. So Jeevithan, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ken. My pleasure.